Let's get it.
What up, folks? Look, man, the SEC Connect. It's me and Jay on now. Steven's coming in just a few. He's in Alabama now on a work trip, but he ended early his meeting, so he said he's copping on in a minute. Ty won't be in today, folks. Ty has some stuff to do, and Chris, he's doing his lawyer stuff, man. So you might just get me, Jay, and Steven today. But man, we got some talking to do today, folks. Y'all saw the shakeup in the SEC with all these coaches getting fired. We saw Jimbo get fired. We saw Sam Pittman get fired. Zach Arnett got fired too as well from Mississippi State. And it's going to be a coaching carousel, folks. So hey, leave me some comments, man, on what you guys think. But me and Jay are about to open this thing up. But first off, you guys know what happens, man. Before you listen to these videos and come in here and leave all these comments, please go wipe your feet before you step in my house and like this damn video, man. Like the video. Follow us on all our platforms, but like the video. But Jay, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Nino? So good to be back. So good to talk some SEC ball because count it down, baby. 2 more weeks left and we out of this buzz sucking dump of a conference.
Well, yeah, it might be 3 for either one of us too, because she got the Big 12 championship game, which there's a lot of things.
Counts.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen to get both of us in that game still. But
we'll say regular season though.
Over. Regular season.
We out of this place.
Over.
I'm
2
so
more
glad.
games.
I'm so glad we leaving.
I'm so tired of this conference. Yeah. Oh man, we got a lot of people. Davey, what's going on, man? He follows me on Twitter pretty much. He's a good dude there. James Trice, what's going on, James? Zach Arnott is what Mississippi State fans are calling. Exactly.
I feel bad for him, man.
I do. That's the one guy I feel bad for, man.
Like, he walked into an impossible situation. He was DC doing his thing. He had the Pirate handling stuff, and then
he
unfortunately,
just handled the defense.
The Pirate did not last. He didn't last on the ship anymore. Rest in peace.
Yeah, man.
And now
I feel bad for him.
Are not.
Yeah,
I feel bad.
Not Beavis.
I think the funny part though about him. The funny thing about him, though, he got fired after getting blasted by another guy that got fired. Like that's like
he knew it was coming. He knew it was coming.
Right? Yeah. It's one of those, like, one of y'all had to go. You knew it. You had to go at that point. You lost to the dude who just got fired.
Yeah, man. Somebody got to go, man. Somebody got to go. Who else we got? Oh, yeah. Frightening Truth, man. So what happened with the Big 12 clarification? I'm out the loop. Oh, you saw the Big 12 clarification, right? Isn't that crazy? It's like they're making rules at the last minute. To try to negate both of us getting in if something happens, right? It's just
yep.
And it was last minute. What did happen on Monday, right?
So Truth, yeah. So no, actually, all of this started Saturday. So this is what happened on Saturday. Questions arose about what's going on with the way your tiebreaker is set up, because the way it's set is, and this is their language they put in this summer when they added the 14 teams. And so to clarify for anybody that needs clarification, once they add the 14 teams, the round robin's out the door. The main reason the round robin's out the door is because they're not playing 13 conference games, right? So that's gone. So the way they had it set is if 2 teams tie, head-to-head is what matters. Perfect. Makes sense. 100% logical. If it's 3 teams, they go off of the round robin. If everybody plays each other. If everybody doesn't play each other, they negate the round robin and they go to the next common opponent record from there. And then there's like a long list after that. So if everybody beat like the next team on the list, and then you go, and they got more. But that was the sticking point. So there was models created because, of course, us like some dummies lost 2 games. And so we made it difficult for everybody. And it was modeled that there was a potential chance if everybody won out, OU, Oklahoma State, and Kansas State were all going to be tied. So because of that, OSU played Kansas State and Oklahoma, won both games. But so OU they would did not play Kansas State. So based upon their bylaws, by their rules that they have written, the head-to-head didn't matter because K-State and OU didn't play, so you can't really classify it. So you go to the next common opponent, which would have been either Kansas or Iowa State, depending on how that went out. If it was Iowa State, OU jumps everybody. If it's Kansas, Kansas State jumps Oklahoma State. And that's when they were like, oh no, we've got to clarify this. And so another model was, you guys got a tough one this weekend. Y'all go into a very cold environment, and y'all have lost 3 of the last 4 in Ames.
We're going to whoop their ass this week. Let me tell you something.
I mean, look, y'all should.
They gave us bulletin board material. They gave us bulletin board material.
I'm just saying. As you know, Steven, what up? As you know, your mark has got it out for y'all. We all know this. We've talked about this. Your mark's got it out for the next 2 games on y'all. So if y'all lose one of the 2 and everybody else wins out, it leads to a 4-team.
And then Texas is out of it.
And Texas is gone automatically. And then in some of the models, Oklahoma's gone. But the reason why Oklahoma will be gone is they pulled their head-to-head mess again. So they had to clarify everything that, no, head-to-head takes precedent over everything. So if 3 teams are tied and 2 of them didn't play each other, but one of the teams played the other 2 and beat them, then yes, the team that won the games against the other teams deserves to be in.
It's going to be interesting.
Now, I'm going to say this.
Texas went out, we're in. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Yeah, you got to win out. Now, I'll say this, though. That's not wrong, but that's not what the rules said.
Yeah.
They changed the rules
at the last minute.
On Wednesday, today. They changed it. It said it on Monday. They're going to clarify it. They put it in front of everybody Wednesday, and they changed it today in a statement.
Yeah.
Because that line was not in the bylaws.
Yeah, I was telling Nash that today. Idiot. Yeah, so Nash was like, holy shit, they did change it. I was like, yeah. Steve, what's going on, man?
Not much, fellas. I'm chilling. I'm actually here in the great state of Alabama.
Hold on, what part?
Alabama!
On the road.
Alabama.
I'm here in Huntsville.
Oh, you're in Huntsville. Okay, I'm about to say, don't tell me you like in the Gump and didn't say nothing.
Nah, brother. You know, if I was around the way, I'd pull up. Come on.
You were from Hawaii last week to Alabama this week?
And you know, I'm Mr. Worldwide 305. You know what I'm saying? You know,
yeah, you are. Obviously.
No. I may not be as mobile as Pitbull, but no, we've been outside the last few weeks, so. I know just timing worked out where I was able to jump in, and this week, fellas, so much happening in the realm of college football this week.
Oh yeah, we getting into it. We getting into it. It's all about them. It's all about them coaches in a minute. All about them coaches.
Yeah,
man.
that's like
so you guys were talking about the Big 12, kind of what the parameters are, right?
Their clarification.
Yeah. So and I missed. As a Texas fan, I'll be honest with you, Jay, and some of y'all, look, I'm not trying to get into all this math and all this type of stuff. If we don't win on Saturday, if we don't beat Iowa State, a game I'm very concerned about, a game I have questions about, but if we don't win next 2 games.
Nino said y'all going to destroy them.
We're going to destroy Iowa State?
Hey, man, they put too much bulletin board material up there, man. They put too much bulletin board material.
Hey, Steven, we talked about this. I told y'all, your mark's got it out for y'all. They're trying to figure out the 2.
You know what's interesting about that, though, is the TCU game. I felt like if they really wanted to screw us,
that's the game. That's the game. We got more calls that game.
We got calls in that game. Like, it was
which was weird.
Well,
yes.
Look here.
I mean, look at the Savion Red. Look at the Savion Red situation, right? Like, they almost didn't call, like, TCU. We clearly, I think it was Austin Jordan, if I'm not mistaken, hit the TCU player out of bounds extremely late, and they did not throw a flag. I've never seen.
That's true.
I've never seen a play like that happen where a Texas guy didn't get caught. Like, normally, if we have an infraction like that, we pay for it, or it happens, right? But the whole situation escalated when Savion ran in there, who wasn't really in. He came from. Not only was he on the other side of the field, but the brother came up on the sidelines and then got into the scrum, said something crazy. He said something so crazy that both teams, I saw Texas players and TCU players and the refs, all, like, turn around like
in unison.
Like, he said something where it was an immediate flag. So so that was like, okay, all right, we didn't have to pay like I thought we would, where any little thing, honestly, as a Cowboys fan, and man, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, we've been paying for the whistle on the NFL side way more than we've paid from a Texas fan side. It's been bad over there.
Yeah,
But
It's fair.
the Longhorns, I don't know. Now Jay, to your point, if Britt McNearmark's saving it all for one game and a special, it's either this game or the Tech game.
Yep.
It's one of the two. If he's just saving it all for a 2015 Oklahoma State special that they did to Charlie Strong back then, when we had Michael Dixon as a freshman, like one of those type of game, like that was a game where I was like, no, this is like racism. Like we're in the deep South. They're out to get us. Like that 20. Nino knows what game I'm talking about. That 2015 Oklahoma. And some of you guys.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
I remember that game.
That's the one where they called holding on point of forward.
Yes,
it's the point of forward holding game.
That's what I was like. All right, this is like remember the Titans. We're in the South. They're out to get us. That was the only time I've ever felt like that as a fan. But no, this Iowa State game is interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, though, like Nino said, if we handle our business, then we don't need to get into all the complicated mess and minutia of the Big 12. It's pretty straightforward, right? Where it gets complicated is if you believe, which maybe Chris and maybe Jay, if you believe that Texas is still typical Texas, then you're waiting for them to blow a game. And it's almost happened every single week. We've been putting people on a roller coaster, but we always survive. So if you're waiting for Texas to be Texas, it could happen one of these 2 weeks, and then we get into the minutia of what happened with the ramifications.
It's not going to happen, Steven. That already happened in Dallas. That was the blowaway game right there. Chris.
Perfect time to bring Chris into the game. Folks, my thing, again, I hate you guys, but not like that. I don't like people to be cheated out of games.
I hear you.
But I know your mark is waiting. I mean, Texas Tech is probably the game that he's saving everything up.
That's the one.
Every single currency he's got.
That's the one.
I only point out Iowa State because they are not the same team they were to start the season. Defensively, they look a hell of a lot better, and it's going to be gross when y'all go there. Like, it's going to be ew, and y'all don't have Jonathan Brooks. Now, I think Red will be fine. Blue's going to do it. I think y'all be fine. It's going to be ew.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Because I think it's supposed to, like, rain potentially, too. So it's going to be, like, 30 degrees and rainy and, ugh. It's Iowa. Ew. It's Ames. Ew. And their field is awful. They have the worst field in the Big 12, and BYU is in second place. Like, I think chunks of the field comes up when you step on it in your cleats.
Yeah.
Imagine your running back trying to run through that ish. It's going to be nasty.
I'm just looking at what they've done recently, right? So after you guys beat them, they went at home TCU 27-14. They win that game, right? Cincinnati 30-10. Baylor 30-18. They lose to Kansas 28-21. And then they beat BYU 45-13 at BYU. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, but we got too many upperclassmen on this team that I don't think this is going to be. I'm not on wood. I don't think it's gonna be too much of a problem. I think it's gonna be a close game.
I have 3 concerns, Nino?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have 3 concerns. So number 1 is what Jay just said about
Brooks.
No, playing in Iowa and the weather.
Yeah.
It's gonna be gross.
Cold weather games. I've never, for years, I have not liked how Texas has looked in anything 50 degrees below. Even 45 degrees, they get a little shaky, especially offensively. That's one concern. Just the weather, the atmosphere. Like they act like there's that toughness, that element there that we haven't played a cold weather game this year. Number 2, the Jonathan Brooks injury and having to rely on our throw game. And if the coaches are going to get creative enough to install something for Cedric Baxter and Blue and the runners that are there, that to acquiesce to their strengths versus what Jonathan Brooks was doing. I actually think they have an opportunity to throw a curveball at Iowa State, and if there's anything scheme wise they wanted to change, this is the week to do it. But I don't know if they will. And the third concern I have is Iowa State has found an offense.
Yeah.
The reason why I took this, I didn't even consider this game as a threat so much for most of the year, was because Iowa State had been so bad offensively. It had been such a struggle. But Chris, and Chris, this is no shade or anything. This is just the same thing. When you said that you weren't worried about Oklahoma State because of how bad they looked against South Alabama, my counter to you then was that's not the same Oklahoma State that Oklahoma's going to see. Like they had evolved as a team, like they had changed.
That's fair.
And also they got up for the game. Like there's a different element. You can't compare the two. So I see a lot of Texas fans saying, "Oh well, Iowa State couldn't score against Ohio University."
Yeah, Ohio, yeah.
I see a lot. I'm like, don't look at the. I'm almost inclined to say, like, yeah, you want to look at the film to see what they did successfully, but like that's not the same Rocco Beck that we're going to see.
Yeah.
Just like it's saying, if I look at Alabama versus South Florida at this point, it's almost useless because Alabama has evolved. If I looked at Jalen Milroe the first 4 weeks of the season, it's almost useless based upon the Jalen Milroe that we're seeing today. So some of these teams have evolved so much, and I think Iowa State, to their credit, offensively, like this is a game to me where Texas, Nino, this is where you win. They called out the wrong person, started talking. So if we're going to stand on business, it needs to be the defense.
Don't have your guard.
Where the defense literally could say, you know what, screw them. We're going to be so dominant that they don't have a chance. We're going to win this game ourselves. Yeah. So that's where Texas defense, because we're waiting to see that Texas defense that we saw in Tuscaloosa as well. But I'll pass it off.
I was just going to say this right here. I said this last night on Jason's show. To me, I think one thing that we will see a lot of, I think this is a game where JT Sanders could actually, I'm going to say it, Nick, he could actually be a factor, right? But no, I think this is a game where you see him active, very active in the game. They're going to do a lot of quick passing game to kind of counter that attack to try to get Baxter settled in and all the rest of that stuff, but also to try to get those weapons loose and try to get them going as well. One thing, you guys have played them really close, but one thing that has always been apparent in each and every game that you guys have played against Iowa State over the last couple of years, Xavier Worthy has really gashed him on a lot of plays, and you guys have used him all over the field against him. He was almost like a damn gadget back. I mean, you guys were hiding him behind tight ends, behind offensive lines. I mean, you guys had him lined up everywhere in this game these past 2 years. And I mean, he's had a lot of success against them. So to me, I think Tampa could potentially take one of them away or kind of limit them, meaning AD Mitchell or Xavier Worthy. But at the same time, you got to worry about that other guy. And AD Mitchell is actually playing. I mean, I know you guys will say he's played great all year, but to me, I think after that OU game or after the Houston game, it's like he really just turned that shit on. And I still am kicking myself, and I'm not even Sonny Dykes, but how the hell do you not run like a cover two or run some too high safety look to give your corners help? You can't leave them on an island on a crucial down like that. You can't leave Xavier Worthy and AD Mitchell, who is your 50-50 ball guy outside of Whittington, right?
Chris,
you can't leave those guys alone like that. I just don't get what TCU was doing.
Chris, but TCU played the defense that we've all Texas fans. They were out there. If we die, we die straight man.
Yeah,
and it was crazy to me. And remember, Jay and I, we got to this thing about like it was kind of all for fun and games about when Texas and OU were going to play. We were like, hey, y'all want to see us in man coverage. But for the most part, OU didn't run man. OU mixed in a lot of zone and ran,
you got to.
Yeah.
But y'all, as much as y'all talk, you're like, we're not stupid either.
Yeah.
TCU came out.
Yeah.
TCU came out there. It was like, and Josh Newton is one of the better corners in college football.
He might be first round this year.
But the whole group, to be running man coverage like that with TCU, we're watching the game like.
I called my unc after that play and I said, why the hell would you leave those corners on an island? He said, that's arrogance. He said, that is TCU being
pure arrogance.
And I was like, really? I said, you think so? He said, I know so. He said, why? He said, why else would you run that? He said, you think you're better than them? Okay, well, go show it.
I just can't. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, that's wild to me. I was like, on the play that mattered, you leave that. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
they literally left the entire side of the field. AD.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. It's Josh. Josh is good. But you cannot ask any one player to defend that amount of grass against
the entire game.
Yeah,
the entire game.
That's a play where I was like, I'm glad we have common sense because whatever the play call was, screw it. If you're Quinn Ewers, you're like, that's man coverage.
Yeah, that's man coverage. Give that to my dude.
The one thing that I will say for me that I'm kind of nervous about is can they find that recipe? Can they find that get to, how should I say this? Can they test that secondary? Can they test that Texas secondary? I think that's obviously the way. Do not go in there trying to mess with T'Vondre Sweat and all of those guys. You guys have a front seven. I felt like, outside of the little chunk plays that they were able to get on us, obviously pretty much shut them down, especially second half. I mean, it wasn't that much to do. Your front seven is going to come out there and is going to make life difficult for them if they can't establish the run game early on. They're going to have to hit on passes, but I think the secondary, if you could keep them guessing, you can win. And my question for y'all two is, why the hell do y'all play so much with so much cushion? Like, y'all have guys out there that I feel like could press a lot more than what's going on. I mean, that's my question.
Hey, Chris, I got this one because I was looking at the game tape yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's been a trend over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Texas gets a big lead, and PK kind of costs the dogs off a little bit. I wish he would just play the same defense that he played, but I do understand why. And I honestly think this is coming from Sark, is he's playing not to allow the big play.
Yeah,
he that's what he's doing. So it's almost like he's like, look, I'm going to let you nickel and dime us, and that's totally fine. But in my opinion, I'm going to go with what got you there. If the defense held him to 6 points in the first half, play the same damn defense. Yes, change it up a little bit, but it just seems like once we get that lead, Sark almost calls off the dogs a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
to slow the game down almost, because he wants to run the ball a lot, and which he's done very effectively. He hasn't passed the ball a ton in the second half. If you notice that, I think in the second to last drive, he ran the ball 8 straight times. He was like, bam, bam, bam. He was very successful. And then on 3rd and 1, he runs again. I thought that was a perfect opportunity for like a play action pass there, but you can tell he's trying to slow the game down and just get his guys up out of there, which I think is a party foul. I think, look, man, it's all gas, no brakes, right? I want us to go like 2019 LSU. Put 60 on everybody. Just do it.
Every game.
But at this point, and I want to make one quick just addendum to what Nino just said. At this point, we're 10 games in, and that's not what we are.
Exactly. Yeah. It is what it is now.
10 games in, and everybody can say this about their team, whether you're an SEC fan of OU, Texas, or whoever. 10 games in, you are who you are at this point.
Yes,
you know your team, and that's not who we are, unfortunately. Which is it's great. We're 9-1. We figured out how to win a lot of these games. We're winning close games. But to make the addendum real quick, me personally, I'm big on sports psyche. Like my boy Lando show, he does a lot of sports psychology work over there. I believe personally that our nature offensively in the second half, when we get these big leads, Steve Sarkisian calls the game conservatively. Mm-hmm. He and when you call the game conservatively, like to the manner in which he does, you're not of an attack mindset. Yeah. And I think that permeates over to the defense somehow.
Yeah.
Because the defense is also like, oh, we got to protect the lead. instead of in the first half where the defense is attacking. They're trying to get sacks, turnovers. They're trying to get tackles for loss. They're in an attack mindset. Now, when you're in attack mindset, just like especially in boxing or MMA, you are what? More open to counters. I get that. I get that. Somebody can counter you. But I defensively, I personally, with our talent, I want to stay in attack mindset. I think we get too conservative. We start playing off our back foot. And as you see TCU gets into rhythm, when we give teams confidence that are not only in attack mode, but teams that are down by 3 touchdowns. Chris, when you're down by 3 touchdowns, you come out in the third quarter, you're in survival mode.
Yeah.
That's the most dangerous a team can be mentally. That's so when you counter somebody that's in survival mode, trying to stay in the game, versus somebody who's just trying to hang on, I think it keeps creating these type of elements.
Trust me. Me and Jay know, because 2018 we lost a very important game because of that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of the problem with Lincoln for me, was that second half you work so hard to get up by 2-3 touchdowns, and then all of a sudden you basically screw that away. Yeah, because your play calling is all over the place. So no, I get it. I just was wondering, because I would always see them creeping. I was like, man, I was like, y'all can press these guys.
Yeah, it's crazy because the talent is there. But one thing that I want to talk about Iowa State here for a minute.
Yeah.
What Iowa State has done over the last 4 or 5 games, what they've been able to do really, really well, they've been able to run the ball really well.
Yeah, yeah.
And coaches are stubborn and arrogant, right? And coaches are arrogant. Matt Campbell is an arrogant coach. I think we've all seen this about Matt Campbell. He's an arrogant guy, and he's one of those guys that I like to listen to his press conferences, because he's just a funny guy to me. But he's going to be very arrogant. He is going to go mano-a-mano, right? He's going to try it for about a quarter and a half to run the ball, and he's going to figure out real quick that he's not going to be able to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so I think that's the opportunity where Texas is going to have to seize the moment. And when they stopped him on those first 3 drives, when he's trying to run the ball, run the score up.
There's been some other things. I won't get into that, but there's been some other things that have happened that have caused them to lose against you guys. But one of them actually is Matt Campbell. He's gotten in the way. He's made some questionable calls.
He's an arrogant coach.
And
he's a very arrogant coach.
Yeah, for me, my thing about Sark is this right here. Let me get through your through your script. Let me get through your script. Let me make it to the second half. If I can get to the second half and we're in a puncher's distance or whatnot, as far as being able to take the lead, or we have the lead, or we're on top of you and we can force you out of shell, I feel good going into the second half, because I don't know what the hell Sark is going to do in the second half. He could be concerned. It seems like he's been. I would say this right here. I kind of blame Steven for some of the fourth down calls now that he's making, because Steven went on a rant about, I want him to be more aggressive and this and that. Same to you, Mike McCarthy. Please stay aggressive. Like, CD, come on, man. Just
have you guys not noticed? No, Chris. No, seriously. Let's talk ball for a second. Have you guys not noticed this epidemic amongst coaches?
Yeah.
Of running the ball
on third and long.
On third and whatever.
To set up for a short fourth down.
Long. It's not even long, though. Like, third and long is a little bit different. But I'm talking about like third and 5. Third and 5.
Yeah.
Where if they were on, let's say, their own 30, they would just run a play. In a normal circumstance, anywhere outside of scoring range, they would run a play to get a first down. But for whatever reason, when they get in scoring range, their mindset changes and they run some, whether they run duo or inside zone or whatever, to get 2 yards out of the 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And now they put themselves in this crunch fourth down moment.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
No. Hey guys, one of the if I could just chime in, one of the funniest things to
a lot of coaches are doing this.
No, one of the funniest things to go back and watch is the Red River game. Actually, on that goal line stand, you see Sark kneel down, looking at his play call, and I'm sitting there saying, "You called that? Yeah. You called that?
Yeah,
you called that again."
He even said the worthy screen that we ran.
He said he should have done it on third down.
He said he was going to do that on third down.
Yeah.
So run it on third down.
Hey, why is you second guessing yourself that much? But
you know what? Okay. Hey guys, this is the last one for this one because we gotta get into these coaches.
We gotta move on.
I was about to say we gotta transition from this perfectly from arrogant coaches right into coaches getting fired for being arrogant.
Man, let's talk about Texas A&M.
Great
paying them 76 M's to Jimbo Fisher, and probably up to $100 million for Jimbo and his entire staff to go away. And then probably have to pay a buyout for another coach to the tune of anywhere between 10 and 20 million, depending on what kind of coach you go get. And then go pay that man about 80 to $100 million, depending on what kind of coach you get. So this is a $250 million decision that Texas A&M just made. Folks, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Texas A&M, of course, fired Jimbo Fisher, on Monday morning. Was it Monday morning, right, folks? Monday morning? Or is it Sunday afternoon?
I think it was Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. But it was Sunday afternoon. The word got out. It was official Monday. But look, man, guys, let's go around the table here. Let's talk about the Jimbo Fisher firing. Chris, I'm going to start off with you. What was the first thing you thought when you saw them do this after he blew out Mississippi State like 52-10?
First thing I thought was, man, this feels like I just felt like, damn, it's soon. It's like almost too soon, right? Like it's something that you knew was coming. We had talked about. For me, I feel like now Texas A&M is like that one toilet at the Love's pit stop or whatnot. You go in there and you just like, God bless, who was in here? It's toilet paper everywhere, a couple of stains on the seat already. You're looking at it, just graffiti here. Everybody, somebody put on there, don't look up, don't look down. And you just like, this is wild. I don't know what's going on. Couple of holes in the wall. You sitting there just like, I don't know what else to do. Like I came here, so always saw this open. That's what Texas A&M is right now. You have to, the fact of the matter is they put themselves in such a hybrid position, right? They have to go out there and hire somebody that is going to, they can't hire somebody who has to come in and speak to Evan Stewart and all those guys. They have to hire somebody that makes Evan Stewart and the rest of those guys say, I'm going to stay there, right? A lot of, my uncle told me, he said, well, nephew, you got to understand, those players didn't commit to Texas A&M. They committed to the money. And I said, that's right. That's true. But at the same time, it's a bunch of players that I'm sure are looking around and saying, man, I could have went to Texas. I could have went to OU. I could have went here. There's better situations out there for me. But I thought it was too soon. But now you're paying him basically retirement money. He doesn't have to coach another lick. I would love to see the contract to see how much money, how much of that money would another school have to eat to
they
be
don't.
able to have
they
him
don't. He doesn't have an offset in his contract.
Nope. And he doesn't have to get another job either.
Yeah, he doesn't have an offset.
Jimmy Sexton, baby.
Yeah.
Jimmy Sexton, the legend at the bank.
Gets another job at West Virginia because that's probably going to open up. It's just more cash on top of cash.
I'll end my point here. They put themselves in such a awkward hybrid situation to where they have to do two things at once now. They have to save this program, save these players that they've went out and gotten in these recruiting cycles, but they also have to make the right hire culture-wise to be able to establish that. And I think that you guys, I think the verdict is, for me, outside looking in, I think the verdict is still a little bit out there on you guys, but I can't deny that Sark was not the right guy at this moment in time. I got to see them be able to do that and say, if Texas can stay away from the splash hire, the big splash, all the rest of this, and get the right guy in to instill this, that, and this and that, why can't we need to do the same thing? I don't know if they're going to be able to do that.
Hey guys, I just put up a list here, and I know, like if you guys can see this, the Texas A&M coaching candidates, and it's like the top 10 or whatever, right? The first in that list is Mike Elko, and then there's Jonathan Smith there from Oregon State, and Lane Kiffin and Dan Lanning, and I like Drinkwitz, but I don't know if he's the answer. Mike, so Mike Norvell from Florida State. I wouldn't see him leaving Florida State. I think he's building something there. Jeff Traylor is one hell of a name. That'd be an awesome pick there. Fritz is a hell of a coach too as well, and Kleiman. Let me tell you something, man. So, when I look at this list, A&M is going to do something that A&M is going to do A&M. Okay. A&M, the guys that are paying for this are probably the donors who got Jimbo the job in the first place. They're probably the donors who helped bring in his staff in his first few years. I think they're going to go with somebody that they feel very comfortable with, and I think that's Mike Elko. I don't see Dan Lanning leaving.
That.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're spot on because going down that list with Lanning and whatnot, I don't see Lanning be dumb enough to leave for that job. That'd be a stupid job to take for him. You're literally just taking the money. You're not going to be successful there. Everything about A&M has been weird since their inception, and we have 100 years of data about them going all the way into all their Yale leaders or whatever the hell they be doing, that cult stuff. You got to understand, we've got hundreds of years of data. They are who they are, just as Steven said. 10 games in, you kind of got an idea of that team is. We got hundreds of years of data of who these people are. But my thoughts, when I saw this, the first thing I did, I went to go see what the price of crude oil was. And luckily, my boy Spencer Hall from Shutdown Fullcast already tweeted it out. $77 a barrel. Okay. So one or two things happened in this situation. One, they already knew who they were going to hire. Just as that comment popped up there, they'd already negotiated with somebody. They're about to hire somebody. They already know who they want to hire. That was my number one thought. Because for them to have the money to pay that 30% up front and then the, $7 million a year till 2031?
Yeah.
Somebody had an idea who they wanted to hire. And they've got to be negotiating with Jimmy Sexton as we speak. Because unfortunately, they will be paying this next coach $100 million because nobody's stupid enough to take that job for less than what Jimbo Fisher was paid with the crap that he provided.
But hey, Jay.
Next. Huh?
Okay. So I want to push back on you on this one, though. So if they're going to pay that kind of money for another coach, then it's not Jeff Traylor and it's not Willie Fritz. It's not.
Fair.
Which I think are probably the two best names in that list. It's not. I don't see Dan Lanning leaving. I just don't. I don't.
Dumb. Oregon has now.
And I don't see Lane Kiffin leaving either. I just don't see Lane Kiffin leaving.
I was gonna say traditionally Oregon coaches leave every 2 years. I mean, we know that's been their track record. I totally get that. But right now he got them humming. I feel like Dan Lanning is waiting for the Alabama job to open. If you want me to be 100% honest, I feel like he's waiting for that or Georgia. Georgia won't happen soon enough.
Yeah,
Bama makes the most sense. He's gonna go get a big job. He's not going to leave just to go to A&M, knowing that school is a cult, is cursed, and you will lose.
Look. I won't say that about A&M. All right?
What?
No. I mean, we can look at the past history of what the school has done, but that is because that school hasn't hired the right coach. Texas A&M has everything in place to win right now. You think if Nick Saban was coaching at A&M right now with all that talent and he brings his coaching staff over there, do you think they're going to be 5-7?
Nick Saban won't be stupid enough to go there. Here's the thing about it. Here's the thing. Look at the administration. Look at the decisions they made. Nothing about them has told us that they're competent. But I don't trust them.
Look here. The only bad decision they made was who was going to run the team. They've made great decisions on facilities, paying for the recruits that they want.
Got money.
Yeah,
Oil's high right now.
But that's my point. If they go get a no kidding hell of a coach, A&M is a sleeping giant. They have
who are they gonna hire that's gonna be able to overcome the cultish crisis that they are to do that? I mean, someone was supposed to have been the guy. He walked in, won 11 games, and beat Bama. And they fired him.
Jay, I have a question for you.
Give it to me.
So like I hear what you're saying, and I don't necessarily disagree. But I want some clarification.
Go ahead.
If you're a really good coach, how does the cult aspect mess you up?
That's my point. I don't think it does.
I mean,
From
that's a fair question.
administration, like how can administration screw you up? How like just if you can speak to some of those things.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So there's this. So unless he's gonna walk around with sage every day to try to knock off all the cultish vibes that flow through there, because like what it is that cultishness, it seeps into your skin, like it gets under your nails. You start to stink of it, and as you smell of it, it starts to perforate out to your players. So you start to attract all these 5 stars, and they play like 1 stars. They just don't show up for some reason. And if you've noticed it, it seems to be since Dennis Franchione or whatever, it feels like Franchione. There we go. Like everything about them has been awful. Every year, it's like the hopes get up and then they fall down every single time. Like there's been no excuses for them to not be successful the last 25 years. As you just mentioned, they've got all the money in the world. They got more money than God. How come they never can hire the right guy?
It's because it's the same knock that people used to give Texas about the boosters run this and the boosters run that. And I always used to say bullshit to that.
There you go.
You know,
there
because
you go.
boosters are at every school. They're at every school. But I got a real good feeling. If A&M had the proper guy in charge, they would do great things there. And let's be honest, when they hired Jimbo, right? No matter what people thought about Jimbo, that was a big boy move by A&M. I mean, even when it happened, I mean, that was like, damn, they went and got Jimbo like that. I mean, like Jimbo he's wanting to go. They were able to steal a national champion winning football coach, even though, you know, from the outside looking in, it looks great. Now we watch football a lot and we understand what Jimbo is. He's a guy that's made a ton of money off of Jameis Winston, you know, but that was still a big boy move for them to go get Jimbo, because at that point, the narrative still wasn't bad on Jimbo yet. It was that he was going through some bad phases at his school, and the school didn't want to invest money into his program. He got Jameis the Heisman. He followed that up with E.J. Manuel. A lot of people forget about E.J. Manuel. He developed him to be a first-round draft pick as well. Yep. You know, and then after that, he was like, the school doesn't want to pony up money. So during the Francois years, they didn't have a lot of fanfare for that team because he couldn't get people to pony up money for the program. And so when you look at the totality of what he did before those last couple years, Jameis was great. EJ Manuel still held the crown for a while. The team was still rocking. It wasn't a bad team. They were winning 10 games a season, right? And then he has the Francois years, and that was the outlier years, right? But I think we come to realize that the outlier years are what he is. That is who he is.
Right.
But I believe a great coach there will do great things there. Yeah, go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, so I feel like I agree with some of the things you're saying, Nino, and I agree with some of the things you're saying, Jay. Like, I've been agreeing on this. Here's why. So going back to the Jimbo Fisher original hire, at the time, I was skeptical of the hire because I saw the decline happening at Florida State. It just hadn't manifested yet. But the way he was recruiting and the issues they were having at Florida State were present at the time he left. And honestly, the Francois era was really sad how that young man was getting beaten down those last couple years at QB before Jimbo bounced. They weren't recruiting well at Florida State, and it was evident, you know, with the people that took over after him. That's number one. Number two, with A&M though, to Jay's point about A&M, we have seen them have success, and they go overboard with it. They don't like. They also there's an element like Jimbo goes 9-1 that COVID year extension. right? Like they're still right. Like
Hey, they think that they're now the Alabama Crimson Tide the minute that he did
it's
that.
like, chill out. The Johnny Manziel years with Kevin Sumlin, they got thirsty again there, and it was and that was a time where they were being progressive minded offensively. They came into the SEC with more of a air raid-ish. Them in Missouri. Remember when A&M and Missouri came into the SEC, they initially had a lot of
ass. They whooped ass.
Nobody else was running air raid concepts, and they had the perfect trigger man. A&M did with Johnny Manziel coming in, and it all just mastered beautifully. But even when Kenny Trill took over, and then it started to get exposed, they didn't handle the success well. They got a 5-star Kyle Allen. They got a 5-star Kyler Murray. They got all these guys there. Then they got, y'all remember what's my boy the receiver Speedy
Christian
Noyle.
Kirk.
No, they got Speedy Noyle. Y'all remember him?
Yeah, Speedy Noyle. He got arrested a few times, didn't he?
Supposed to bust, man. And they and all of those guys got there, and they didn't know how to handle themselves. And yeah, that a lot of that is on Kevin Sumlin and his lack of control.
That was
why
it.
he was let go.
And there's something about the cultish weird things about what it is when it comes to A&M. Like, so as you mentioned, you answered one of the questions for me, those boosters. Like, we talk about it. Everybody has boosters, but not everybody got the same boosters. 3 schools got boosters that have a tendency of destroying good things. Auburn, you can ask anybody in the state of Alabama. They'll tell you, yeah, something about Auburn's boosters always sticking their nose in places that ish don't belong.
They got him Cam Newton.
A&M. We've seen this from them. Right? They have a tendency throwing their nose. And it's because they got all this money. Right? There's just super rich people that get bored and they're blowing their dough. And what they're blowing right now is all this oil money. And it's funny because my favorite people, Bomani Jones, he mentioned this on the right time. He said, right now, Jimbo is praying for peace in the Middle East because when there's conflict there, what happens? Oil prices go up. That means all those boosters are getting richer. And they're getting richer and richer every day. And as they get richer, they're looking like, that buyout ain't as bad as I thought it would be. I just made an additional $17 million this month. We may need to consider it. And then guess what? They fired everybody. They fired the dude before this. They fired the dude after he won 52-10, and the season ain't even up yet. But at the other point I wanted to make too, the other reason why I think that they fired him now, and this is a problem with college football. Early signing day makes it to where if you plan on putting a coach in place and either salvage or creating a recruiting class, you got to get started with in-home visits starting December.
Right now.
You can't wait till the season ends. They've got to hire somebody by Black Friday.
Great point.
They got to go find a Black Friday sale somewhere, see if they can get themselves a discounted coach, or get themselves an 80-inch TV for $299 and see if they can get them a guy in place. Because when in-home visits start, the first thing everybody going to point out is, they ain't got no coach, bro. Yeah, I mean, E-Rob can walk in here and make you feel good, but who says he going to be there?
Which is why they made E-Rob
the assistant head
interim coach.
Interim coach.
But hey, Jay, listen to this though. Look at that list of coaches we got up there. Which one of those guys is going to be hired the day after Thanksgiving? Who is leaving their job? Elko's the only one. Dan Lanning,
because he came from there.
Dan Lanning he's in competition for college football playoffs. Lane Kiffin, we just saw what he's done. Lane Kiffin is not the answer, folks, to anybody's problem. He is not mature enough.
Lane Kiffin and James Franklin are the same dude. They literally the Spider-Man.
Hey, don't talk about Lane like that.
Mike, look here.
Lane Kiffin and James Franklin is the same dude. Hey, they are the Spider-Man meme. Both of them win a lot of games, and guess what? They
but not the ones they should.
2 teams to win their conference. They can't do it. Neither one of them can. Never will. They never will. Because that's who they are.
Listen.
It's been established.
I never thought about it like that. But so look at Mike. Look here, man. Mike Norvell. Mike Norvell is going to be playing in the college football playoffs. Okay, Fritz. Does Fritz leave Tulane to go to A&M? There's so many jobs opening up. I could see it. I could see him leaving to go to A&M, but I can also see him. I've heard he's been linked right now to Mississippi State. Right? So
I would take A&M over Mississippi State.
But,
yeah, I would too.
Not going to get offered. Look, Willie Fritz. I'm sorry, Willie Fritz is not going to get offered A&M, and it's sad.
It's not a sexy enough job. It's not a sexy enough.
He's not high profile enough.
Same thing with Jeff Traylor.
Yeah, they're not Traylor. Traylor, I think they're going to sell. They're going to be able to sell Traylor because Traylor is
he's an East Texas guy.
Is such an East Texas guy. His high school coaching profile,
Gilmer.
And all of the people he's tied to from Gilmer is so strong in the high school football network that they will be able over time to sell Traylor to the people that are unfamiliar. The smart A&M fans know about Traylor. The people that are really dialed in, they know Traylor is inevitable. Traylor is inevitably going to be
somebody's Power 5 coach
and likely a very, very good Power 5 coach. It's just, do you want to be the first one to take that chance now?
Well,
and every level, Traylor has never not been successful as a head coach.
But that's the thing, though.
Willie Fritz is going to be the guy. And listen, he's not sexy. He's older.
Yeah.
He's at Tulane. It took him a long time to get to Tulane. He's going to go to Mississippi State. And that is a fantastic hire because Willie Fritz is an outstanding football coach. He just doesn't have the same PR. He doesn't have the high school legendary football ties that Traylor does. And Traylor's going to – the thing is, once Traylor gets up there on the mic, they're sold because he can talk.
And he's a Texas boy.
He can talk, and he's a Texas boy.
Yeah.
It will sell because I think Traylor's ultimately going to be the guy. Here's why. Elko fits, but depending on who I talk to, people think that Elko doesn't like recruiting like that. Elko's more of the guy like Kalen DeBauer, like who's more like I just like
Stephen. That's a great point. That's a great point because none of these coaches up here, except for Lane and Dan, in my opinion, Mike Norvell. But I mean, the thing is that. And I get what Mike Norvell did last year, 9-3 or whatever. This year, what he's doing, obviously. But when you look at Mike Norvell, Jeff Traylor, Willie Fritz, even Chris Kleiman, I love Chris Kleiman, even though I hate him on the field because of
he's a hell of a coach, though.
Hell of a coach. Love Chris Kleiman. Mike Elko is coming to his own, a Jonathan Smith dude. Outside of Lane and Dan, here's my problem with Texas A&M. None of these dudes that they have are just these, oh my God, these guys are elite recruiters. They do this, they do that. And not saying that they have to be because these guys get it how they get it. And they're winners. And I'll give them that. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know if you can say, okay, after this whole Jimbo taste is out of my mouth, right? That did not sound right. But either way, after this whole Jimbo thing.
Put a pause behind it.
With this whole Jimbo thing, now you got to ask yourself, is Texas A&M fans, is Texas A&M administration, and is Texas A&M boosters going to give these coaches enough time to establish that culture? Because I think we're all on record here at some point talking about Sark, talking about BV, talking about a couple of other coaches saying you have to give them 4 to 5 years to really establish that culture to get everything really going. You can't just come in there and say, let's give them 2 to 3 years and let them try to build something.
Chris, I want to go back to timing though that Jay talked about. I think that's a critical thing here because Jay talked about signing day coming up and all that, but
early signing day,
yes, but another element is also, hey, if you want your guy, sometimes you got to be first to the party and being early.
Yes.
And you know what? If we know it's not going to be Jimbo and the people behind the scenes have now come up with the money, we're going to do it right now. We do not care about going 8-4 and whatever. Like if we can get the money now and buy him out and then go and get the guy that we need now and be early, Cool. Now the question is, do they already have something in place behind the scenes?
I don't.
Do they already have something in place behind the scenes? And I
Yes.
think there's only a certain amount of people on this list that Nino has here, and maybe one other name, which would be Urban, if we want to go down that route, which they could have a deal with behind the scenes. So let's say let's think of the big names, the sexy hires.
Hold
Urban Meyer makes noise. I don't. That's a whole nother conversation. The most realistic name that makes noise that's on this list would be Dan Lanning. That's and you know what? What's funny is no matter who they hire, they're going to tell you that they got their number one guy. They're going to tell you that that's who we wanted all along. But I know just from the A&M fans I've spoken to, JP in the chat is an A&M fan, by the way. I think Dominic's an A&M fan too. Dominic, I think you're an A&M fan. Tell me right now, put it in writing, who do you want to be your next head coach? Don't lie. JP, you do the same thing. But because I'm holding these A&M fans to the fire.
They don't want Traylor. They don't want Traylor.
Versus who they will get. Because the thing is, right now on November 15th, you can make a deal with Jeff Traylor at UTSA, and he can keep it moving. You can make a deal right now. You can't make a deal with Dan Lanning right now with what he has going on at Oregon. You can't make a deal with Kalen at Washington based upon what he has going on right now. It's not realistic. So it's either the Traylor thing or Elko or if you're going big, Urban. But I doubt it that they have anything locked in with Dan Lanning at this point with what Dan has going on.
And he's moving to the Big Ten. So he's moving out of the Pac-12.
Right.
And he's going to big boy football now in the Big Ten.
They're both moving conferences. Yes.
Yeah. So look, I think Jeff Traylor's a home run hit. I mean, I think he's a home run hire.
JP's a football. JP said, I want Traylor.
Yeah. I think he is a home run hire. However,
he's probably the best one.
However, I don't see A&M ponying up $100 million to get rid of a coach and his staff to go get a group of 5 coach. I don't see it happening. And I'm not saying this right. I'm not saying it's right for them to do that. I just don't see them making that big of a splash to go hire a coach from UTSA,
right.
even though we know
the best coach.
Even though we know he's the best guy on this list for that program.
Yes,
that's the irony of it.
That's the irony. I don't.
They're not that smart.
No, but but look though. Paying $100 million to get rid of an entire staff, guys. Think about that for a minute. To go hire the coach of UTSA.
Sound like the stupidest thing in the world. Sounds like Texas A&M.
Now, look, I love Jeff Traylor. Like I'm telling you, folks, he's the best. He's the best person on that list. He is.
Traylor would try to keep though. He would try to keep E-Rob and so
he would retain a lot of that staff. He would retain a lot of the recruiting staff.
He would, because remember the biggest mistake Tom Herman did, Nino, when he got here, was he fired every Charlie guy,
and
only gave them 15-minute exit interviews, and Traylor was one of them.
Yep.
And Traylor had just won Recruiter of the Year.
Yep.
On Texas, and we fired him like idiots.
Stupidity. I'm telling you, man.
He's not going to make that same mistake.
Texas A&M is going to go with what's familiar with them, and they're going to go get Mike Elko because the fans know him. They can get excited about him. They have seen him do great things here on the defensive side of the ball. And they are seeing Mike Elko at Duke do things at Duke that nobody thought Duke could do. Right?
Can you highlight Jesse Browning's comment?
Josh Pate. He said, Josh Pate said that there are coaches in the mix that would shock you. Coaches that you think are deeply entrenched in their program are actually in play for the A&M job. And I want to talk about this. I sent you guys.
I agree with that.
Look here. I sent you guys a tweet in the back channels here earlier this morning. And a guy by the name of Dabo Sweeney was asked a question about the A&M job. And he would not commit to not being a candidate for that job. He said, only thing he would say was, I'm focused on winning our next game. That right there let me know that Dabo Sweeney has been contacted about the Texas A&M job. And you're going to talk about big boy pants and putting on big boy pants and want to go get a big boy hire after firing $100 million, after putting $100 million on the table to fire somebody. That's the pick that A&M would go get, would be a guy like Dabo Swinney. Now, I will say this. If Dabo's the guy, you see, this might be the perfect situation for a guy like Dabo because we all know he can coach. Okay? I'm not going to knock Dabo's coaching. He would fit in that culture so good. Oh, my God. You want to talk about a culture fit? Oh,
perfect. Weirdo, everything.
Goes NIL in the name of the Lord.
Southern preacher, Southern Baptist preacher.
My.
Down there. Oh, Lord.
He doesn't even go. And look, Steven, he don't even have to go recruit because the boosters are going to do it for him.
And he's allegedly anti-NIL and transfer portal and all this stuff, but they will.
He's one of them.
I'm telling you, man. One of us. Dabo to A&M. And we talked about this in the back channels earlier today or yesterday, right? When I sent that tweet, and we were like, "Really?" And I was like, "Dude, I can see it happening." That's
but don't you think there's a part of my brain that thinks what somebody else just put. The chat's going so fast. I appreciate y'all.
I know we got so many chats, dude. I'm trying
to. This is awesome. No, but the chat's going. But somebody said it earlier, like. There's a part of my brain because I've thought about the Dabo thing too. That's Jimbo all over again, kind of. Like is because Dabo's showing a drop off at Clemson. That's facts. Right now he is showing a drop off. Jimbo was showing a drop off at Florida State. He just Jimbo. I meant to tell Jay this earlier. I'm gonna tell Jay this now. What Jimmy Sexton and them boys did a few years ago with that contract will be studied in law school. That was what they pulled off. Will be studied.
Masterful.
On how to finesse, right?
It's like the Ricky Williams contract.
Other billionaires and millionaires or whoever else was involved. What they did with Jimbo's contract will be studied for years on how to win. Now, you want to talk Jimbo, you can say what you want. Jimbo's not a loser. Because he won in that contract.
Yeah.
And he going to win every time they hit they deposit.
Hey, Steven, this is a comment I want to bring up here, from Richard. So Richard goes, with Traylor, you can't expect instant results. Given time and with his recruiting success, he could take them to the promised land. Can the Aggies be patient? That's the thing. No. You can't expect instant results. That's why he's not going to be the man. Because Aggie is built right now to win in 2024. And they need somebody that is going to rally the troops for those kids to stay at Texas A&M. And I'm sorry. I love Jeff Traylor.
Comment is hilarious.
Who? Which one?
Texas. No sooner he said Dabo's not going to put up with players smoking dope and having sex in the locker room.
Oh my God, that would be that's hilarious. I did hear Lincoln Riley was potentially flying down there for an interview. Same thing with Dan Lanning. So
he said
Lincoln Riley, you think
dope and having sex in the locker room?
It's hilarious.
You think that Lincoln Riley? Think Riley?
I would not doubt it.
If I'm A&M, I wouldn't touch Lincoln Riley with a 10-foot.
But wouldn't they have to pay USC his buyout?
Yeah, probably. I mean, well, shit, they paying $100 million to buy. What's another 20 or 30?
You get a meal. Right. You get a meal. Everybody gets a meal.
This is my own. I'm telling you,
why not?
This is my only problem with Traylor, and I think Traylor should be the pick. If I'm A&M and if I'm an A&M fan, I would be like, go get me Jeff Traylor 9 days out of 10. But it's that first and that last.
You want to know what A&M thinks right now? A&M is in the same mindset of Alicia Keys. Don't let your dream husband, just because he's being married right now, stop you from getting him. Don't let the guy of your dreams let his marriage be in your way. Why you? I think he would go after Lincoln Riley.
Why you gotta give straight bullets to Alicia Keys? She asked for none of this, man. She
held two
married.
strays on that one. My point. They're gonna go after Lincoln. They're gonna go after Dabo. They're gonna go after anybody that they think will listen to them. You gotta have the right weirdo to go with this team with this school.
Fellas,
and I'm just saying, man.
I think it's
That's
Dabo.
what it is.
I think it's Dabo.
If it's Dabo, please give me that all day. Could you imagine we don't believe in NIL?
No,
and then
but Chris, but look here.
You know what's funny?
He can say he doesn't want to
what's
believe in
funny?
it. He's going to be told you will believe in it there. There's no
Okay.
option.
You know what's funny?
That's cool. If it's Dabo,
You know what's
I need
funny?
the staff.
He
Go ahead,
takes
Jay.
that job. That gets him out of his Alabama clause at Clemson. So if that job ever comes up,
Yeah, I think
He can go back
Jay,
home.
Jay, you said it earlier though. I think
Dan
I think-
Lanning.
Dan Lanning is.
But look here, though. Talking about Alabama, I'm in Alabama. Alabama fans don't want Dabo anymore, and it's been like
I mean,
that for a
fans
couple
don't,
years.
but they ain't got nothing to do with them. Administration like them still for some weird reason.
Yeah. No,
Just saying.
it's not happening in Alabama. But man, what did Surfer Boy say? I can see Dabo at A&M because he's torn his draws with Bama Nation a few years ago, so he's not going home to Bama. I'm telling you, I can't see him go back to Bama. I mean, that's the word here. Fans in Bama don't really jive at him no more.
you think he's worried about a smart ass kid like you? yeah, Dabo ain't worried about all of that, man. Dabo is I don't know. Dabo is in Dabo land right now.
Dabo goes to Yale practice and probably need therapy today. After.
Yeah, like,
The other names that are on here too, to me, like Norvell doesn't make sense. They're not going back to the Florida State well
At all.
Drink got the extension from Missouri, which now looks good, Jay. I know we were questioning the extension before the season, but
How much you get?
Now that looks pretty solid. I don't remember how. I know he got a contract extension before the season, but it also like freed them up to fire him in a weird way. It was like one of those type of deals.
Yeah.
But I mean, Missouri. The thing about Missouri is that's. I'm not saying it's the Texas A&M job. I'm not, but I think he's in a good situation there. He understands the fertile recruiting ground. I don't know if that's the move though. If you're A&M to go get Drink after this year, Jonathan Smith is an Oregon State alum, so you'd really have to throw the bag at him.
You gotta money whip him. It's not going to
You'd
happen.
have to money whip him to leave.
I mean, it's fair.
But then also, it's not a pick that the administration and fans are going to feel is sexy enough for. Jay said it right. A&M thinks they're more than what they are. Okay, they are.
I'm just
But,
saying, man.
I will say, with the resources, the proximity to the recruits, they're in the state of Texas in the best conference in the SEC. They are a sleeping giant.
How
But-
can Missouri finish with 5 losses? Aren't they like 9-1
Yeah, they're like 9-2, I think.
or 9? What's the
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They're 8-2, aren't they?
James? Yeah, they're not going to finish with 5 losses. James said that Missouri's going to lose out.
Surfer
They're
Boy
like
says,
ninth in the playoff thing, right?
yeah, man, they're like the 9th ranked team. They got 2 losses. They're the highest ranked 2-loss team in the country.
Yeah, no, drinks on good time here.
Yeah,
It would be
I don't-
funny
yeah.
if they did lose out these last 2 games. He got fired. That shit would be hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
He ain't getting fired. They got to keep.
If that was like the last straw. Well, I mean, if you lose to Florida and Arkansas, you probably should get fired.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
have a question for the group. Oh, he said future tense. Okay.
Fair.
Excuse me. James.
Gary
I said-
Patterson? Hell no.
No,
Gary
he's too
Patterson.
old too.
Gary Patterson's not going there. Gary Patterson's going to coach again,
I can see him
Right.
in Mississippi State.
but it won't be at a
Or-
school.
Or Baylor, because Aranda's getting canned this year. I can see him at Baylor.
Yeah.
Baylor or Mississippi State.
Baylor would be a good job for him.
I have a question for the group though.
Yeah.
Is it realistic to think that Urban Meyer is a candidate for this job?
Absolutely not. He ain't coming
Why?
back.
Why?
Would A&M want him? Yes, that's probably their first call. Same thing with Michigan State. I think that he's gotten a taste of life where he doesn't have to actually work very hard. And he likes it. I saw him actually get on another
And
show,
getting paid?
a peek into college football with Allie Peak. She does Florida Gator content. He was on there on her channel, did an interview a couple days ago and was like, nah, I'm enjoying this. I like what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. And what I heard in him saying that was You know how little I work right now? That's like David Shaw. That's why you're not going to ever see David Shaw on the sideline again. He can still study the game.
Now?
David Shaw and
NFL network analyst.
Two different people, man.
Yeah. Look here, man.
That's a very. I mean, I hear what you're saying, Jay.
He got fired. I mean, he left twice with medical problems right when scandal hit. Well, I don't see him wanting to put himself in that situation because he's going to have scandal at A&M.
Well, hold on. I think I could see him doing it again because he did it the second time. He always has a scandal following him. Well, no, he had scandal follow him in 3 different spots now. Florida,
yes, that's what I'm saying.
Ohio State,
at a certain point,
Jacksonville.
At that age.
No, that's just his life. I think guys like that, to me, that shit motivates them.
I agree.
Well, I mean, he had scandal at his bar where he was dancing with a young girl that
my point, he needed the thrill.
Fair. I don't think A&M's the thrill that you will want, though.
I think enough time has elapsed for us to say this, and I know he ended up taking the Jacksonville job, but there was the Texas Boosters not only reached out to Urban Meyer, but they made an offer, and his counter offer was outrageous. And it was something to the effect of, accommodations. It wasn't even just money. It was certain accommodations that were just like out of this world.
He wants complete control. If it's in my program, I want complete control. How about this name?
Beyond they were willing to give an oversight they weren't willing to give at Texas, which is why Del Conte pivoted to Kyle Shanahan, which ultimately led him to Steve Sarkisian. But no, go ahead, Nino.
Dan Campbell.
See, I've been hearing that name. He's winning in the NFL. Why in the hell would he go backwards?
It's his alma mater.
It is.
Why would you go backwards?
And if they're saying I'm gonna pay you $12 million a year,
he probably makes that now.
No. What would your wife tell you if your salary is gonna go from $5 to $12 million?
Well, we don't know how much NFL coaches make, though. It's not disclosed, right?
Yeah, it's not $12 million a year. We know that.
My only problem is that, and I know he Hard Knocks had everybody in America falling in love with him and all the rest.
No, he makes $2 million a year.
My point.
I get that.
I'm sorry, he makes around $4 million a year.
Really ready to commit to that recruiting grind and all the rest of that. I mean, that's
how much, Chris.
I don't know
how much recruiting was Jimbo doing at A&M. It's booster. I want Evan Stewart. Okay.
I like JP's comment.
Hold on. Which one? Dude, we have so many comments today.
He said pure Aggie.
Love y'all, man. Thank y'all for pulling up.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what he understands it. He's a guy that understands the assignment. He's one of them.
Don't do shit.
He's a guy that understands the assignment. He's coaching very well in the NFL. He's brought the Detroit Lions from a doormat to a reputable team. He is an A&M grad. His attitude is infectious, no matter what you think about the guy.
Drew said it. I agree with Drew. NFL guys have a funny way of saying, I don't want to recruit. Is he going to want to? Do you see Dan Campbell going and trying to sell 18-year-olds? Because Dan Campbell's used to being with grown men and not having to do all that bullshit.
Well, it goes down to 15-year-olds, really, if you really think about it, because they're recruiting usually 3 years in advance, too.
Good point.
But the other thing,
true.
That's why Joe Brady's not back.
Because Joe Brady hated recruiting.
He hates, and it's documented. He knows. Because that's the problem, is that even though you're the CEO and you're overseeing it, that's the reason why it's funny, because that's the reason why Brent Venables was able to bring in much better classes than Lincoln Riley was ever able to do here at Oklahoma, is because he was visible. And recruits even said, I had one recruit come on the show one time, and he's like, hey, man, I came to Oklahoma, hung out, never met Lincoln Riley. So guess what? They were never on my list.
Yeah.
And new regime came in. I came in. He's like, dude, I see Venables everywhere. Like, he's always around. He's shaking our hands. He's checking in with us. Yeah, I want to play for him. For
it's
somebody
a
like
really
that.
different job. And very few men have ever been able to dabble between the two. Like, it's what Jim Harbaugh Pete Carroll.
I think he'll be fine in the recruiting, man. This dude's a 47-year-old man.
Somebody put out there that Pete Carroll should take this job. I was like, he's 72 years old.
Pete Carroll is not leaving the NFL.
Pete Carroll, somebody great granddaddy right now. Man.
Right, that dude's got a cake job.
Yeah, he's not hitting the road.
Pete Carroll got a great grandbaby right now, man. What are you gonna do?
Little Johnny at Podunk High School, and and pull up, nah.
Pete Carroll's the guy that's hanging around the high school that you're like, sir, what are you doing here? Oh, so that's Pete. Somebody come up. That's Pete Carroll. Really? I thought he was some old creepy dude just hanging around the high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man.
Look here, man. I don't know if I believe.
Y'all are just glossing over what Clem Curry over there said in the comments.
I saw it with Jim Tressel.
Nobody gonna sit there and say he's doing Jim Tressel.
Well, the problem with Tressel is Tressel's an administrative guy, and he's running Youngstown State. He's not leaving his president job.
Could you imagine if the sweater vest and tie comes back to the side? Like, God.
I'm telling you, man, I get what you guys are saying about Dan Campbell. But I could see this. He's a young man, and being the head coach, he don't have to go everywhere when it comes to recruiting.
I'm just saying,
I don't know. Dogs for.
I don't know Coach Campbell. To be fair to you, Nino, I don't know Coach Campbell. I don't know for a fact that he wouldn't be in the recruiting. But I know this: when Texas went smack after the Urban Meyer thing, they went smack to Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, and they were like, "Why don't you come back to your alma mater? You're the best offensive mind, arguably, on the planet of football." And he said, "I hate recruiting. I don't want to talk to kids. I want to deal with adults. I want to deal with guys."
I can see that with Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan doesn't talk much now in the NFL as a head coach. Dan Campbell, you saw that. We're going to break bones and eat teeth, and he's.
Yes.
I mean, like
bite their kneecaps.
Yeah,
he's an outward person. Yeah, hey, man, he's not an introvert. I could literally see him on a college trip, sitting on a couch with parents,
getting turned.
Yeah, and getting turned.
Just like Jim Harbaugh was out there with his shirt off, throwing passes to recruits. I totally get
Jim Harbaugh was sleeping on the couch at one of his recruits' house. That's taking it a little too far. But he was.
But I'm saying this though. That's the thing. The difference between Harbaugh and Dan Campbell is NFL players actually like Dan Campbell. So he's probably not leaving. Yeah. They hated Jim Harbaugh. Like he's one of those coaches that wear you down after a certain amount of time. Like you just get
a lot of guys in the league said that it felt like they were in college again playing.
Yes. So he's perfect for the collegiate level.
Dan Campbell, while he comes off that way, is very much a player's coach in terms of how his day-to-day operations.
He'll get another NFL job if he ever loses this one. Put it like that.
What was the comment from Gabe? From what did Eichert say? He said he played with Dan. There's a comment on there.
Which one? Which one?
Gabe Eichert said that he played with Dan and that he doesn't think he would entertain it.
Gabe, I don't see your comment, Gabe. How far up was it? We're getting so many comments today. Let me just search, Gabe.
We appreciate y'all showing up and hanging out.
No. It was somebody quoting Gabe Eichert.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. It was somebody quoting Gabe Eichert saying, it was Apache 2895.
There it is, yeah.
Apache who?
Apache 2895 said it.
How far up is it? Damn it.
It's probably like 2 or 3 up.
There you go.
There it is.
Gabe Eichert doesn't believe Dan would take the job. First experience for him during their playing days. That's playing days, man. Dude played how many years ago? 15 years ago or something?
I know. Dan Campbell was the Cowboys starting tight end before Jason.
Yeah, so look, all I know is Dan Campbell is Billy Lucci's best friend. They were roommates in college. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot. There's a reason why I could see it happening. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Everybody would love it. If they were to pull that off, that would be unbelievable.
Would be equivalent. That's the hometown
I just read an article saying that there was no chance.
I don't, but also we got to factor this in, Nino.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions right now are not only doing very well, but they're probably going to win the NFC North.
Yep.
They're one of the better. They're fighting. They're contending for probably potentially a home playoff game, which means their season is not even going to end until after National Signing Day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like they may play
at least early. Yes.
That's true. That's true.
So how would that work? He would literally have to quit.
Quit his job now.
He'd have to quit and recruit because he can't go there and not recruit. And the Lions are doing very well. So I that's where I get stuck on this. It's like the timeline doesn't make sense.
Man, it's Elko then.
Yeah, I'm Elko in. I'm all Elko.
He's the only guy whose timeline works out. His team's not going to go far in the playoffs. They're going to a bowl game, right? And he can hand it over to his offensive coordinator or DC, the coach. None of these other guys on the list are
why? Why has nobody mentioned Cliff
Kingsbury?
Yes,
child, please. He don't like recruiting.
They wouldn't be stupid enough to hire him.
Why has nobody talked about this guy?
Because he's a 500 coach at Texas Tech.
Throw me on Cliff then, Chris.
He's a 500 coach at Texas Tech with
a guy that has some. I get what you're saying. A guy who has some success in the NFL
and in college
comes back. He's already produced a Heisman winning quarterback at your school. You know that he's got a great offensive mind. He's what you've been looking for offensively for the past couple of years. Give him time to go out there and get his staff together, which I'm sure that's probably what he's doing now. Albeit if he doesn't hire Alex Grinch or something like that, make a mistake like that. But why not get Cliff? Cliff is already familiar with the program and all the rest of that stuff. I think that he would be a sleeper on this job.
Hey, man, read that comment, Chris. What's that say? Cliff don't like what?
He said recruiting.
My point. So
but I think with that A&M brand, I think he would get out there. I don't know what Cliff likes. Cliff has been very behind the scenes lately.
Look, there's a lot of good coaches out there and a lot of really good minds that don't. Recruiting is hard.
Yeah,
this is something that we actually probably underrate with a lot of the coaches we already have. Even Sark, like we probably underrate
hard.
Recruiting is hard. It takes so much thought and relationship building. It's probably the most underrated thing Nino and I probably consider overall with Sark, because not only is he good at it, he's passionate about recruiting.
He's relentless.
He's relentless. The thing is, to me, I do not believe you can be successful as the head coach of Texas A&M and capitalize on those resources if you do not embrace recruiting.
Yep, I agree.
I don't think it can happen. It can't be. Somebody just mentioned Dan Mullen.
Yeah,
you saw what is. I like Dan Mullen, by the way, but the moment I heard him say recruiting is not important right now, he would go.
Especially at Florida. You can do that shit at Mississippi State. You can do that at Florida.
Heard Kirby Smart say
that. All right, I'm about to run out.
Yeah,
go live in about 5 minutes.
All right, man. All
right, Jay.
See you, Jay. But hey, you know what, Steven? I want to know what the hell was Urban's counter? What kind of counter would that have to been?
So I'm sure people have heard different things. I heard that he wanted so we've talked about the practice bubble.
Yeah.
I think he wanted it fully done, rebuilt and done before he got here.
No. I mean for A&M, because they said that he got all. Yeah.
Urban.
Yeah.
What was his counter to A&M?
Yeah, because that's what Jay said, right?
I haven't heard that.
I wonder what the hell counter. It had to be astronomical. You know, it's almost like he probably gave them a number so great that it was going to guarantee that they were going to tell him no. You know what I'm saying? But look, man, I think we're all in the same boat here.
With paying Jimbo.
There is 2 people on this list that are in high contention. One of them is Mike Elko. One of them is Jeff Traylor. And if they want to win right away, which fans are going to want to win with that class they have the 4th most talented roster in the country as assembled right now. They're not winning with Jeff Traylor next year, guy. They're gonna have to be patient because some kids are gonna jump ship if Traylor's the guy. Well, hell, they're gonna jump ship if Elko's the guy. It has to be.
They'll jump ship regardless.
Yeah,
because if you hire Elko, they're gonna want to know. Like Evan Stewart is gonna want to know who the hell's the offensive coordinator.
exactly. That's why what Josh Pate said today. There's people lurking that they've contacted that aren't known yet, that are big time names. It's got to be somebody established. I just don't see A&M spending $100 million. $100 million.
I'm not really a fan of it. Somebody said Tom Herman. How about that? How about that? I'm not really a fan of the Mike Elko simply because, I mean, unless that's just because of what the limited resources, I guess you could say he's working with. And I think Duke is a hell of a team, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they're a great team right now.
But the fact of the matter is he wants to run the ball and play defense. That's his MO. And maybe that's because he doesn't have the receivers like he would at A&M. But at the same time, that's what kind of worries me is he going to have an offense that's actually opened up and that he can actually run? Because I like Leonard. I mean, the quarterback they have there, but he's limited at some points.
Yeah. Hey, this is a good comment from Surfer Boy. Surfer Boy says, my guess is Urban's got Michigan State and A&M in a bidding war right now for services. I could see that.
Urban ain't going on Michigan. Stop. Yeah, what'd you say? Child, please.
I know, but look, I can see him using A&M as a crutch, as leverage too as well, knowing that he wants to go to A&M.
Hey, go get Chris Peterson, man.
He's 89 years old, man. Chris Peterson guy, like I said, he another one that got great grandkids right now. They ain't gonna hire that man.
Yeah, some of these guys, like, he's not gonna have the energy to deal with that fan base. He's already soft spoken on TV, like showing like. you need no. To be fair, A&M the sooner A&M understands who they are holistically and what, just embrace that, right? Like the people like Dabo. People that Jeff Traylor works. I don't care what anybody say. Jeff, when they listen to Jeff Traylor talk, and he's one of them, and he's an East Texas boy, he understands that program. He's sent players to that How many times has A&M gone to Gilmer over the years and gotten players? All these people have come to him over the years. I like Jeff Traylor. Jeff Traylor's dream job, by the way, is actually University of Texas. But it's just the timing's not going to work. So, but right now the opportunity is probably there for him to go to A&M. But he's going to sound good on the mic. Jeff Traylor will sound so good on the mic because I remember when he got hired at UTSA, and people at UTSA, they actually, Brandon along the wire, Brandon can tell you because he runs. Brandon runs San Antonio down there, 210. He'll tell you, people were not sold at first. People were like, what the hell? Why are we getting that? As soon as he spoke and he said, and honestly, Jeff Traylor, since he's been at UTSA, has really been a man of his word in San Antonio. He's really put on for San Antonio. He has won in San Antonio. He has developed in San Antonio. He's going to graduate that whole class down there. That, to me, is if A&M did that, I'd be like, okay, y'all are really serious long term about ball. Y'all are really serious. But if they go the splash route, they go the splash route.
I think they're going the splash route, brother. Dude, they got to please the fans.
You've seen it before.
We've seen it before. Oh, bullshit. I mean, let's be honest. It's no difference in what we did here in Texas. We got rid of Mac. Charlie wasn't a splash hire. He was further down the list. Once we got rid of Charlie,
we were trying to get Saban.
Yep. Once we got rid of Charlie, the splash hire was Tom Herman. Remember the reports that Tom Herman's getting hired by LSU, and we got to do something. We got to do something.
Yeah.
And then we get rid of Tom Herman,
and we countered the last second with LSU to LSU's offer.
Yeah, we should let that go. And then we fire Tom Herman, and then you bring in the splash hire in Sark, right?
Hey, why not Gundy, Chris?
Hey, he fits the culture.
Why not Gundy? I don't think Gundy would do. I don't think Gundy's. I think Gundy at this
Mullet
point.
flowing. You know what I'm saying?
I
Gundy
think at
definitely
this
ain't
point,
coming out there to recruit. That he gonna live off of just Dallas.
I think Gundy actually likes being remote at Oklahoma State, talking his shit into a vacuum. I think he enjoys that, like just off on his own,
Yeah.
just talking. I think he likes being the. Some people don't want to be the guy on the throne. They want to be the guy yelling at the guy on the throne.
Nope.
They
He
enjoy
loves
it.
Yeah.
He loves it.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would ever want. I don't think Mike Gundy's the guy that's going to go there and be like, "Oh, I want all these big ass expectations."
No, never, no.
So here's JP. JP being the resident A&M guy here in the chat. Knowing us, we're probably going to go to splash route, even though there's a great coach 3 hours down.
And he said
down the street.
in
San Antonio.
Hey, watch them go get that Texas State coach.
GJ's not ready yet for that job. GJ's good. Dude, GJ Kinney is good. GJ Kinney is going to be a star coach. He's not. No. His first year at Texas State.
Hell no, not right now.
No, GJ. This is going to be GJ's trajectory. I think like a job like Baylor or Houston.
Yeah, no,
something like that would be GJ's trajectory. He's a rock star.
At the very least. Yeah, at the very least.
1 year at Texas State is not going to get you the A&M job.
Well, hell, when Gundy was struggling, that's who it was. Him, Jeff Traylor, the offensive coordinator for Texas Tech, and then Wisconsin. Those were like the top 4 candidates. They were saying you could see potentially. Oh, and Kendall Briles could come to O State, and so. I was enamored with the guy to start the season, but then they kind of tailed off. But then again, it's Flynn. TJ Flynn was the guy out there, but I don't know. I do think that him and Jeff Traylor have Big 12 written all over them.
TJ Finley. Oh yeah.
Oh, Finley,
yeah.
I'm somebody said with Tommy Rees for his splash how you guys are just joking now.
No.
Hey, you know what's funny? Okay, so Coach Prom's name comes up, right? All right, so I was watching something this morning about this. Of course, he's not ready for this job at all. All right, but I think I was watching like Undisputed. I think, yeah. It was Undisputed. So it was Skip and Richard Sherman and Keyshawn Johnson, right? Mm-hmm. And they showed a clip of Prom saying that. He hasn't heard anything about it, right? Which is bullshit. You know, Prom hears. He hears the noise, right? He hears the noise that Jimbo's fired, and he hears the noise that maybe he could be an opportunity, you know, for him to get a job like that. If A&M wants to splash hire, that's about as big as the damn splash you can get in the state of Texas. There are a lot of things working against that. His sons can't transfer anymore. I don't think.
That to me, that ends it. That's the end of the conversation.
Unless they graduate in December.
Or Travis can't go either. Travis is not going to graduate after 2 years in college.
Well, Travis can't. Hold on now. Travis transferred from
Jackson State after his freshman year to Colorado. Yeah. He's only in his second year. He's not going to graduate to be able to transfer again without sitting.
Yeah.
Is it the same case when you're coming from a lower tier school?
Uh-huh.
I thought it was only Power 5.
Nah, dude. It's the whole no.
Oh, it's everybody.
He can't move again.
Yeah, he ain't leaving them.
He's not leaving.
Yeah,
he's not leaving him and his boy.
Yeah.
They're stuck they're not stuck, but they have to stay at Colorado at least until Shiloh's the only person that can just flip around because Shiloh's graduated at Jackson State. The other two are too young. They can't move again.
Unless Shiloh graduates. That'd be the only thing. He would have to graduate in December.
No, Shiloh graduated.
No. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but they're not going to leave Travis there.
That's true.
He's not going to leave Travis there.
That's true.
I'm going to be at Colorado one more year. And to me, that's
his daughter plays basketball at Colorado too. A lot of people don't know that.
Right in that he's not leaving after 1 year. No.
Yeah. We'll see. It's going to be interesting, man. This is a hell of a search that's going to
When
go
those
on,
kids
man.
are gone, that's when you look for Prime to leave.
They should put this job on
When all those
Indeed.
kids graduate and he gets them to the league and gone, and his daughter, all that. That's when you.
But they've said that Prime loves Colorado. I was hearing reports that his mother freaking loves it up there. Like she loves it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like you're already making $5-6 million a year. You're rich already.
He's a king there.
He's a king. Without
Look what
the
he's
pressure.
done for the economy. He's the damn mayor there. No, in all seriousness, and it's a beautiful place.
It's a beautiful place.
Great money. At some point, like you have to be rational too about your stressing your piece in your life.
Yeah,
they're not pressing him to win all these damn games.
Yeah, and what people don't realize is simply this right here. You can look at the AD's face. They know that they got to steal in getting him. He's already won. He won whenever they won those first 3 or 4 ball games, and then they took USC to their landing early on. He won.
My cousin.
Yeah, he's. I mean, shout out to him, but they're
still going to get kids to go there the next 2 years. I mean, look at the recruits they have.
Nobody. It's just like I said about OU the other day. It's like, after the Texas game or whatever the case may be, okay, realistic expectations set in now, but the expectation at those moments during the season, it changed everything.
Yeah,
nobody had them going 3-0. We had them beating Colorado State, but we didn't have them beating Nebraska the way they did, and then definitely handling TCU and going ahead and showing everybody that's a fraud this year, right? So, yeah.
I want to address Bevo guy's comment here.
Yeah, go ahead. This is a good one.
This is a great comment, and this is what, to me, proves whether or not A&M it has reached the level of maturity to be serious. And what I mean by that is, if you make the best football hire for your program and you make the best long-term hire for your program, then you're not concerned about what Jimbo Fisher didn't do. That shouldn't factor in to your decision. But knowing A&M, it may. But they shouldn't be forced to make a splash hire. And here's the thing. If you make the right hire for you, you don't care if people bash it or not, because deep down inside you got the right person.
Mm-hmm. You
don't give a shit if people say this is a downgrade from Jimbo Fisher. This person is not of our standard. This person does not have the resume we're looking for. If it's the right person for you, you don't care, because you have a plan. Deep down, they're going to develop the program. They're going to recruit well. They have a passion for Texas A&M. They understand the landscape of Texas, and they're going to be competitive in the SEC. That's what and ultimately leads you to those championships. You shouldn't care about this. But to Bevo guy's point,
it's going to
some people and a lot of these boosters do care what other people think, and that's part of their problem as well.
This reminds me of the Jimbo hire. If you guys remember the Jimbo hire, I'm actually reading up on it right now. When he left Florida State, he resigned on the 1st of December, and on the same date signed with Texas A&M the exact same day. Right? It was exit. That was negotiated. We know for weeks ahead.
It was like a show. It was loud.
It was a show. I'm telling you, I don't see A&M ponying up $100 million to pay Jimbo and his staff to not have a private jet go pick up somebody very important to come coach their team for the next other 6 years and go 7-5. I just don't see it.
But that's ultimately going to be the test.
Yeah. We'll see how much they've grown up.
Yeah, if they hire a football guy and they're like, and they come there and Ross Bjork comes to the podium and says, we evaluated the coaches. We did a thorough search. We went through the process. We vetted these candidates, and we felt like we hired the best candidate. I will respect that, regardless of
who it is.
Of who it is. Because I'm a football guy. I look at those things. I don't care. But a lot of people are going to look at, well, we didn't hire the best. We didn't get the sexy guy. We didn't get Dan Lanning.
Yeah, but
We
look
didn't get
here.
nobody from the playoffs.
I
We
think-
didn't do what LSU did and get a Brian Kelly from Notre Dame.
But
Who did
that's
we
what
get?
they're but that's what they A&M sees themselves in that same light. And they're seeing themselves like, look, my biggest rival is coming to the SEC next year and they're kicking ass right now.
Yes.
My other ex mate in the Big 12, their coach is in his second year about to pull off a 10-win season. Right?
Yes.
And they're coming in here and they're going to start stealing my recruits because the only thing I can hold over the head was I was SEC.
Mm-hmm.
And so Texas and Oklahoma doing extremely well this year. And then coming into the SEC, I think really forced this move earlier than what it should have been, to be honest with you. I think that really forced the move, especially Texas coming in as your in-state rival. That forced the hand. And when that forced in the hand, these guys just went berserk and went crazy. And I don't think they really sat. This is just me talking. I could be wrong. They've talked behind the scenes. You know they have to. I don't think they're that stupid. But I think they went in panic mode.
But I also think to the point mentioned way earlier about what Josh Pate said about various coaches showing interest that you wouldn't believe. This is a classic tactic that you see often at all sports where you use your agent to get an extension. You use your agent to get more money. So if there's ever a school to parlay your own, like if I'm Dan Lanning after this season, I know, and Dan Lanning specifically said, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not doing this for blah, blah, blah. But you know what he can do? Dan Lanning has an agent. That what Dan Lanning's agent is saying. Dan Lanning's agent's going to go and say, hey, A&M just called Oregon, and they want to offer us XYZ number. And he may not have any intentions of going to College Station, but he going to get paper and get paid off of A&M having a job opening. And I believe other coaches will as well. If I'm Kalen at Washington, why would your agent not do that? Chris, you're a lawyer. I mean, that makes all the sense in the world, does it not? To just be getting a raise because you might go to A&M and for your own job to keep you happy. No. I feel like a lot of coaches are going to leverage that against them. So no wonder. I'm not surprised I'm hearing that smoke from Josh Pate because you know who's floating that smoke to Josh Pate? It's the agents.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me. Look, I would be looking at all the contracts right now. I'd be like, hey, let me look at your contract real quick. Let's talk because
look at this comment.
It doesn't matter.
Look at that comment.
Come to me and say, if A&M came to me and said, hey, we want Nick to be our coach. All right, cool. What's the price? They come back and say, yeah, we're gonna pay Nick $25. We're gonna pay him $6 million to be the coach here. I would tell.
Can you see the comment? Dan Lanning is gonna make $12 million a year after all this.
That's what I'm saying. He's gonna make. I would up the price. I would up the price.
Hey, Surfer Boy, I'm just messing with you, man. He's picking Nico. Hey, it's Nino, Surfer Boy. You know that. Damn it, don't be pulling no damn Nico on there, Surfer Boy. You know you're my dog.
It's the oldest trick. It's the easiest money in the book if you're an agent. I'm not surprised they told Josh. They're telling all these people, especially these big college football people, that an agent can easily leak to. They'll say, yeah, we talking to A&M.
Exactly. And you tell and you call. They call me. They say, hey, Chris, I think we want to pay you. We want to pay Dan Lanning this or whatever. I'll be like, okay, but it's gonna have to be $12 million, or my client's feet won't touch the effing ground. We've been driving around the campus for the last hour. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, some people about to get some raises, bro. Yeah, I'm telling you. Because everybody knows A&M's spending habits. They know. So call them on it. All right. This is how much it'll take for me to stay at my school.
I'm just trying to figure out. You know what I just thought about? A&M got a lot more at stake than what we think. It's more than meets the eye. Why? because these mofos and not only in the NIL deals, they put the Hellcats, the Demons, and the Chargers and all the millions of dollars. These fools have messed around and gave these kids land. And so now, so you gotta account for that too. You just like, hey man, we can't mess this up. We got too much riding on.
I'm telling you, man, this comment from Bevo guy, it's exactly what Steven said earlier. It's kind of what me and Jay were saying. A&M wouldn't pay Jimbo all that money to hire a non-splash coach.
Yeah.
Risk losing some of their current top-tier players and recruits right when Texas is coming in hot to the SEC. They need something that's going to galvanize this program. And it's going to galvanize, you know what it's going to be like? Like the pipes in your house, you got the galvanized, pipes, right? But we don't use that shit no more. We use PVC. It's much more safer. It's, it's the stuff that you use in new homes. It's not the old brass or iron pipes you use in the homes that are built in the 40s. That's what A&M's doing right now, right? Yeah. They're building a brand new house. They got all the structure, the best facilities, the best field. They got all the money, and they're building a 2023 house and putting galvanized pipes in there instead of PVC pipes. That's what they're doing right now because they think they're doing something, right? Yeah. It's not worth it, A&M. If you're smart, you will get Jeff Traylor, but you're not. They're going to do a splash hire.
That's true. Make the right hire, A&M.
Unless, hey, you know what though, Chris? If they are able to pull off a Dan Lanning, that would
more power to you.
That's the splash hire.
They would feel like that could flip the landscape, and I'd be like, bring it on.
No, yeah. If they can get a Dan Lanning,
my whole thing is I want to see Dan without Bo. That's what I'm eager to see.
No, he'll be fine. Bo's not that good.
I mean, come on, we know that, but still,
I mean, he's not that good of a quarterback. Look, man, Dan Lanning is young enough to where he's a coach that could literally be in the spot for the next 20 years, and
he'd be able to keep that team together too.
He would keep it together.
That roster, which right now, again, Jay mentioned earlier about Black Friday shopping. We're all, Texas, OU, every school in the country is Black Friday shopping, and Texas A&M players DMs right now. We've already thrown out our bids to Evan and Moose and all those guys.
We would love to have Moose, but we talking Hicks, we talking Overton.
Right, we talking Hicks over. Like, come on, bro.
Give me
Black Friday shopping on that roster as we speak. Put your offers in now.
Put your offers in now. They need to put. This is like this Texas A&M job is like they should put this on Indeed. I mean, they might as well. I ain't gonna lie. One time I got on.
You know who we would love to? Ruben Owens. Come on, man.
Hey, I want Ruben Owens and Evan Stewart.
Come through.
I need Bryce Anderson.
We hit up Ruben Owens Sr.
Yeah, I need those tweets. I'm gonna have him on the show. If he comes back to Texas, I'm gonna get Pops on the show.
Because Ruben always wanted to play with Arch anyway. So look, come back. Look, let's get right, brother. It didn't work out in College Station. We've all been young and dumb. We get it. Come through.
Hold on. How old is Urban Meyer?
Urban Meyer got to be in his 60s, but that don't matter, man.
Surfer boy, y'all gonna get some of A&M's locker room too, brother. Don't worry.
No, so Urban's 59. Yeah, it does matter, Chris. He can't make it 4 years without having to take a break. It does matter.
Well, that's because all the extracurricular, but he get his groove back, bro. That's that. Yeah, hey, that's the movie there. And if Urban gets the job, Urban got his groove back. Yeah, it's like for real.
Urban's an old 59 to me, though.
Yeah, he's an old 59.
Old 59.
I'm just thinking of another name prior to just getting up out of here, man. So I know Chris and him said Lincoln. I don't see Lincoln at all. But I do know a coach that is
we don't want Ruben Owens. Are you mad?
Hey, look. I know a coach that is underappreciated at his school, who is always in the top 4, top 5 in the country, who happened to actually replace Urban Meyer. Ohio State does not appreciate Ryan Day.
Oh my God! Oh my God! End it right here. That's
I'm just
foolishness.
saying they don't appreciate Ryan Day.
That's foolishness. He was getting looks from the what's
The
those
Bears.
boys? Yeah, the Bears, and he didn't take that job. So
It's the Bears. It's the Bears. He has no say in it. It's the Bears. That's a place.
what about how about this? How about this? What about the coach from Washington?
Oh, you're talking about Whittingham? No, Utah.
No.
I'm talking about from
How about
Washington,
Kevin
but I think
Bauer?
Whittingham would be a good. You could go get a Whittingham. Whittingham is making $4.8 million right now per year at Utah. You could go get him if you wanted him. If you were serious
People
about
say
winning,
that,
you can go
people
get
say
him.
that all the time, but they never get them. You know how many years
A&M got that money though to back it up though.
Kyle Whittingham?
Yeah, I think he's a
Kyle
Northwest
Whittingham
guy.
is the guy that replaced Urban Meyer there. Think about that.
I'm just saying.
Urban had 4 jobs since then.
Some people are lifers. They don't like.
Like
First of all, also $4 million where he lives in Utah is what to him?
it's like stupid money. It ain't Texas, you know. Hey, look, man, $4 million ain't taking you that far in Texas no more. Not like it used to.
I heard
man.
the thing about some people from and they could be haters. Kalen, I heard though Kalen, great coach. We know that. I mean, Kalen might be one of the best offensive minds in the country, outright right now.
You talking about the guy from Washington?
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I heard is that he also is a guy who's more inclined to go with older guys from the portal than want to recruit and develop. And the thing is, I think it was Ash. Shout out to Ash who pointed this out. He was like the top 10 players in Washington. I think only one of them is committed to UW right now. The rest of them are either Oregon, Oregon State, Wazoo, or A&M actually had 2 kids on that Washington class. Yeah, and then we still have ties up there because of PK, Sark, and all of our West Coast guys.
Jimmy
too.
Lake.
Yeah, and so there's some, we have more activity up there than Kalen does. They were like, Kalen's just is a dude that's just gonna like hit the portal, only want to deal with veterans. And if you look at it, to their point, if you look at the Washington team right now,
Yeah,
it is a bunch of old heads.
It is. You got the quarterback's been there 6 years, from Indiana. Yeah,
that's what I heard. Yeah. I'm not saying it's true because I don't know him like that, and I'm not going to pretend to. But from people I've heard from, they say he don't want to deal with young boys like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which to me, that doesn't work at a school like A&M.
Nah, A&M needs. I'm telling you, they need a young, energetic coach that is going to be able to recruit and keep that class, keep that talented roster intact. And I don't see nobody on that list besides Dan Lanning that could do that. Kiffin's not going to be able to keep it together. Maybe. I'm thinking about Kiffin.
What did you just look up, FT?
I just looked. Damn it, didn't know that. Oh,
what
he's talking about Cal being at Utah since 2004.
That's wild.
I told you. He literally replaced Urban.
Yeah. Like, damn, I didn't know that.
Hey, I saw somebody on Twitter. They said, hey, look, I'm going to be honest. He didn't have the most success in the world at his last pit stop. I kid you not. Somebody really put Scott Frost's name out there. And I said, why? How in the hell would that
Hell
even
no.
work? Maybe as an OC?
I don't know, but A&M's going to rob somebody, dude. I mean, like, they're going to rob a school for their coach. That's what's going to happen.
We should talk Kiffin before we go, though.
Yeah, Kiffin would be a good. I don't think he'd be a good. Shit, how do I want to say this?
Kiffin would be a really good hire. He would be a slam dunk as far as optics.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kiffin has a lot of learning to do, though.
He's probably going to be 10-2 or potentially 11-2 coming up, depending on bowl.
Could you imagine Could you imagine that
Knows
press
the FCC.
conference?
And I'm telling you, they need somebody that's going to be rah-rah to keep that class together. If Lane Kiffin goes there, their entire offensive roster comes back.
If Lane goes there, I lose respect for him simply because of all the comments that he's made. Yeah.
He's so anti-NIL. What happens when you go? You know why he's anti-NIL? Because he didn't have NIL like that at Ole Miss. That's what, and he can't.
He has the Grove.
Man, look, man.
Grind
he wouldn't be a bad hire there. I just think Lane has a lot of learning to do, man. He has a lot of growing up to do.
Y'all see Cotton's coming.
Cotton's funny. Cotton basically said, let me translate.
Jody Hyro, what's that? Jody Freshwater?
Jody Freshwater wouldn't be a fan of this. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh,
Jody Freshwater ain't going to A&M.
JP says that they hate Lane just from them beating their ass. You guys would love him if he was your coach tomorrow, though. Frightening says Kiffin would be a good hire in terms of keeping a class, decent fit, but terrible overall hire. Lane can be exactly. He has to grow up. He has to mature. That's the biggest problem with Lane Kiffin for me. It's too many red flags. The leaving Tennessee the way he did, getting kicked off of the damn bus up at USC. Going to the pros up at Vegas and not being successful there, having to come to coaching rehab underneath Saban, getting kicked off of the sidelines with Saban prior to the national championship game. Like these are all, I mean, these things happen. Being a guy who won a national championship as an OC, and the only job you could get is at FIU or no, that was FAU, right? Like, just think about that for a minute. Like, you are the Broyles Award winner, I think, that year, won a national championship, took your team back on the offense to a national championship game again against Clemson. You can't even coach in the game because the coach told you, get your ass up out of here and go look for another job, which forced Steve Sarkisian to come in for one game and coach as an analyst, comes down from the box as an analyst to come coach. You know, so these are all red flags for Lane Kiffin. And then he goes to Ole Miss and get your popcorn ready shit last year with Nick Saban before they put 40 points on him and just dog drugged him through the mud last year. And then all the antics this year. Too many red flags.
I don't think that.
It's just fun at Ole Miss, though.
Yeah.
But I think Ole Miss is like where a Lane Kiffin should be. I think it just works.
It works. Expectations are not as high, and he gets to be himself.
And he's doing great.
Yeah. He's doing great for Ole Miss standards.
Yes.
When he hired Pete Golden, I said, yeah, you need to do whatever you want to do around there, don't you? You don't take this serious. You don't care.
It's a different OC every year.
Yeah.
I'm not. Y'all see Ed's comment. I'm not.
Yeah, don't post that, but it's just funny. That was Ed belongs in timeout, but he's not wrong.
I remember them days. I ain't gonna even talk about them. I'm a happily married man now. A&M needs somebody who could either maintain their current talent or replace it. Yeah, I mean, it's the same shit that we've been saying.
Yeah, that's at Blazing Saddles, ain't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same shit that we've been saying. But folks, man, look, man, it's been 2 hours.
Yep.
It's about that time, dude. Man, interesting times. We were supposed to talk about Sam Pittman, but we couldn't talk about that. It's too much.
Let that run its course. That's dead. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah, I mean, the big stuff happened. I mean, Zach Arnett got fired too, but at the end of the day, there's going to be plenty of time to cover all of that. I mean,
definitely. It's going to be interesting times, man. A&M should be hiring a coach here in the next week and a half. The day after Thanksgiving, A&M will have a coach hired. It'll be a coach notified that's going to be hired, and I got a feeling it's going to be somebody big.
I can't wait. My only parting thoughts for today before Nino, you sign us off, is I can't wait until next week to see Ty and Chris do their back and forth for the Iron Bowl. That's going to be fun.
Y'all see the comment?
Ain't no nice like a skinny chick with a BB. That is hilarious.
Stay blessed, Jonathan Stoker. Stay blessed.
Oh man, we out, y'all. We out. We out.